Welcome to All Horse Racing All the Time. I'm Alan, your host, bringing you Horse Racing Today, part 2 of a series, Emotional Intelligence and Horse Racing, and keeping your cool while playing the races. If you haven't seen part 1, I suggest stopping this video. I have a link down below and watching part 1 of this series, and then coming back to this one. Emotional intelligence, the ability to manage, understand your emotions and manage them. And you can see how important that would be in an exciting sport such as horse racing. So we're going to take a look at some of these stages of this and how you can improve your emotional intelligence and your ability to keep your cool while playing the races. Different ideas and what to do about it, really, if it's getting out of control, and some examples. Well, in a softer example, in the first case scenario, maybe you're somebody that usually has your emotions in check when playing the races. I'm known for ice water in the veins, cool under pressure when it comes to horse racing, and in all walks of life, really very, very solid there. And some people, maybe in a mild case, horse racing, it's such an exciting sport. Also a game. Is it a game? Is it a sport? People are divided on that. Some say it's really both. Maybe your emotions are in check for the most part, and it's just that you become it affects your game. It affects your horse racing game when you play the races. In mild case of losing control at the races, maybe you want to get your emotions better in check, and you want to improve your game. It's not really affecting you in other walks of life, your emotional intelligence quota, so to speak. So maybe you want to improve your game a little bit. How can your emotions affect your game? You can see that, right? If you're running to the ATM machine after a loss, if you're getting bent out of shape, if you're not thinking clearly after a race, whether you got a big financial plus, you won a big race, and now you get reckless with your money, or you lose money on a race, and now you're besides yourself. Maybe you jump to another race right away that you didn't even look at. Hurts your game that way, and you throw a bet on something that you really weren't prepared for. You would never have considered betting in the first place. Maybe you lost some money that you made an additional deposit. You lost your bankroll. Now you're spending money, taking money that you didn't plan on using. It's not going to really hurt you big time that you can't cover your expenses in that. But now suddenly it's a bigger day at the races than you thought. As far as money out of your pocket, right? So you start losing. What can you do in a case like this? You want to improve your game. You don't want to go there. My best suggestion is to look in advance before you set your bankroll in advance when you're playing the races, and consider whatever wager you're going to make, how much you're going to bet on this, and then play it forward and say, now, if I win a lot of money in this race, how am I going to handle this going into the next race? And if I lose a lot of money, how am I going to handle this? What am I going to do? And then say, what am I going to do if I win big? What if I'm going to do if I lose big? Win small, lose small? Have a game plan going in advance and say, okay, listen, if I lose this race and I put X amount of money on it, okay, I won't play the next race, or I'll pass, or I'll get out. If I win big, maybe I'll go and grab a bite to eat and think about it, relax, enjoy it, maybe withdraw the money. Okay, so plan in advance if that's the extent of the problem, and then also think about it. Think about it. Do a read up on it, or watch some videos on controlling your emotions when playing the races. There are plenty of them out there on YouTube now, and help you prep up, improve your mental game, your emotional game when playing the races. Okay, what if it's a little bit more serious? maybe it affects you. It's affecting your life outside of racing, or ruining. Let's go make it a little bit more simple. Maybe it ruins the rest of the day. Maybe it affects you that you can't sleep at night afterwards. Again, maybe you were too wound up after a win and you're too geared up to even sleep. Maybe you're depressed that you cancel your plans for the rest of the afternoon, or you're continue playing the races. It goes on, and it turns into a case of losing a lot of money. Then maybe you want to take a break, especially if it's one bad day here or there. Maybe on a specific day. All right, try and keep it in check. Go back to the step one on a lesser degree. Maybe added the plan in advance before you wager. Just the same. What's going to happen if this happens? If my horse wins, what's going to happen? How am I going to handle it if my horse loses? Vision what it's going to feel like. So get prepared. But maybe you want to take a little bit of a break. If it's something that's affecting the rest of the day, maybe you're snapping at people. Maybe your emotions get out of control. Maybe you get reckless afterwards. Maybe you're driving badly on the way home, or maybe you're so upset. Maybe, who knows? You don't spend the rest of the day constructively or in a unhealthy manner, where not only affects you, but maybe it affects others. So then you might want to, lay off the horses for a little bit, or whatever, as far as your emotions go, because clearly they aren't under control. If you're out of balance, out of sorts, your thinking is skewed. And going back to the emotional intelligence again, it's understanding and the ability to understand your emotions and manage them. So you want to be in control of your emotions. You don't want to allow your emotions to be driving you on autopilot and making mistakes. So this might call for taking some time off. I suggested taking up maybe another hobby while you take a break, but you could go on from there. Maybe you're starting to lose your paycheck, or money that would go to someplace else other than your living expenses, whatever they may be. Maybe it's affecting your relationships, or maybe it's affecting your romantic relationship or your marriage. Maybe your husband or wife is now up in arms and they're stressed out because of your horse playing and your gambling and your mood, that you're making life miserable for everybody else. They're walking on eggshells depending on how you did at the track that day. If you're playing an emotional train wreck when you're playing the races, you're going to be wound up probably tighter than a top by the time you leave the track, whether you had a good winning day or a good losing day. So maybe then you want to take a break, a long break, or read some books on emotional intelligence and read some material, strengthen up your mental game. Because even going back to winning and losing, you'll improve your game, and maybe you can be saved as far as this goes. You keep your emotions in check. Maybe you're a good player. There are plenty of good players out there who are emotionally a piece of work. Okay, they become unhinged at the drop of a dime, and they lose money when they could be winning money because they have the mental fortitude and the knowledge, horse racing knowledge and handicapping skills to win money. But the missing piece of the puzzle is their emotional game. And that's just just as important as horse racing knowledge and handicapping skills. Maybe more so because now money's involved, and it's real money. It's not monopoly money when you're playing the races. So maybe you want to tighten up and read up and build up that part of your game. Reading what it takes to improve yourself emotionally, emotionally in gambling, or just emotionally, period. If you're somebody that loses control and it's beyond gambling now. But anyway, keeping it to the horse racing. So tighten up in that and improve that part of your game. And this way you'd still be able to enjoy it more. You'll be able to control yourself. You won't be a slave to your emotions and allow your emotions to drag you into despair or into the gutter, because there's some horror stories with racing because of people slamming down everything. There's even movies about it that they have because they become unhinged, completely unhinged. So read up on it and sharpen up on that. They even have therapists that handle that. So it's something to keep in mind if you insist on playing the races. I talked about in the first video, taking up a hobby. Maybe you want to just give it a rest. Maybe not permanently, but possibly permanently. Maybe you'll find you'll enjoy life better without horse racing. Because if you can't control your emotions, which is the case sometimes, walking away, it's just not the game for you as much as you love it. So because that money that you're throwing away, it's just going to go to somebody else. Because when there's a loser, there's a winner too. Horse racing, that's the way it goes in sports. When there's a winner, there's also a loser. So maybe you want to take a break. Maybe you want to take something else up that's a better fit for you. Maybe you're not built for horse racing, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's not a game for the squeamish, and because of all the emotions that's naturally involved with the horse races over in minutes, a minute or two, couple of minutes, and all of a sudden you could find your wallet much lighter or much heavier. So there's a lot of emotions involved in that. Just look at any horse race. How people are acting when they're either cheering or screaming, when the horses are running around. Emotions, even for the most balanced emotional person, their emotions will be challenged in a sport like especially horse racing, where everything that goes into it and how quick everything begins and ends, and how quick the money can change hands, and what a difference that money can make sometimes. Bet with your head, not over it. So maybe you want to take a break. Maybe you're not built for horse racing. I talked about maybe taking up art, painting, oil painting, or getting involved with photography or puzzles. Buy a giant 5-foot round puzzle with 5,000-6,000 pieces, and work on that for a month while you think about how you can improve your game and maybe not go back to it at all. There's a number of things you can do. Take up cycling, whatever. You get the idea. But maybe it's not for you in that case. I would move in another direction. If it gets really bad, of course, there's always Gamblers Anonymous and whatever you have to do. Maybe it's such a problem now that you can't think straight. You can't move past the gambling. Your emotions are out of whack, but it's like you're drawn to the track. You're looking for money, picking up cans, whatever it takes to scrape together a few bucks to make a bet. If it gets there, and maybe you've lost your marriage, maybe you've lost your home. Don't laugh. That happens. Maybe then it's time for a Gamblers Anonymous meeting, or really to go, seek professional help if you don't want to do that. The emotional, if you don't have the emotional fortitude, now you can't stop, you can't get away. So hope that's a heads up, or at least maybe making you aware, or give you the awareness that this can be a problem, lead to a problem. But there's also a happy a possible happy ending to this and staying in horse racing if you go in with a plan before the races and you're aware of the problem, the awareness is there, and you work on sharpening up that part of your horse playing game, your mental portion of the game. So there's a positive there too. Hopefully it doesn't go down the road to where drastic measures are required. There's stopping points along the way, and you can improve your emotional intelligence. Now, if you have any questions about this, or you have questions about this, keeping your cool when playing the races, emotional intelligence, write me. I'll put my email up here. Email is liveracing@gmail.com. And I'll address your questions. Maybe you have a situation with that, or maybe leave your comments down below. How have you dealt with this in the past? How have you improved the mental aspect of your game? And let us know. You might be helping somebody else by sharing your story regarding this topic. Now, I want to thank everybody for watching. And remember, ice water in the veins. Don't get too high after a win. Don't get too low after a loss. Whether you win a race, lose a race, or pass on a race, you want it to be that if somebody comes up to you after the race, takes a cell phone, brings it to your face, and snaps a picture, you should have that same smile on your face, whether you won, whether you lost, or you passed on the race. Ice water in the veins. Trust me on this. The game will be much more enjoyable, and you'll win more money if you get your emotional aspect of your game intact, and you won't run into all of those problems. So thanks for watching, everybody. And remember, may the horse always be with you.